Hello friends, welcome to my channel SushantChessWise. Today we are going to take 5 cases and all are different kind of endgame studies which will help us improve our thinking, and the methods which I am going to tell you will help you solve these positions very quickly. Each position is different in nature and the objective is also different. Let's get started quickly and see what it is all about. So this is the first position at hand. It is white to play and win. You can see that the black pawns are very dangerous. G3 and F1, see, are the threats. Pawn is coming to F1 and queening. Such positions can be easily solved if we can use the elimination method. So normally we find a move and calculate further, and we choose from different variations that we calculate, right? This is a normal way. In elimination method, you can just look at a move or two and discard the line very easily. Usually it happens in these kind of endgame studies, which makes the solving much quicker. See, for instance, if white had played rook c4 here, f1 just wins and black wins. And that is the case here with almost any move. So the only move that white has is rook f4. So we can almost say that the first move rook f4 is literally forced, and black's move g3 is also forced. Now the point is, what should white do? So this position can be solved by using another method typical in pawn races or these kind of studies. Count the number of moves that opponent has. See, black has g2 and f1, two moves, after which he will be winning. And after that move, we will have one more move if we could deliver mate in that. So we have those many moves in hand. So 3 moves white has in hand, and freely he can use because the black king is really stuck on the queen side. So within 3 moves, white is able to checkmate the black king or not. That is what we have to see. So here see, we can make an idea if the white rook can somehow come to a2 or a1, and then we can give this deliver before mate. When I was looking at the position, this was my first thing in mind, and I also had thought that if I could play b4 first, after ab3 n%, maybe I can get this rook to this a1 square and then mate him. But see, only one of the way works. That is how the studies are. So here white has to play the only move, see, rook f3. If white goes b4, then a takes b3, rook f3 now. But what happens? Black just has k4, and in fact black will end up winning the game. So rook f3, g2, and now comes the rook a3. This is the winning move. Any other move like say again b4, then ab, rook b3, k4, rook b4, k3, here too black wins. Rook a3, and now whether f1 or g1, whatever, b4 is checkmate. Let's go to the next position quickly. Here you can look at this position and the experienced players will know what is the theme. See, whenever there is a lone rook, a lone queen or a lone bishop which has lot of squares to move along, so we can identify that the theme could be domination. Domination means the opponent seems to have lot of place for his piece, but wherever that piece goes, either checkmate follows or that piece is taken with a series of checks generally, or by zugzwang. Okay, so in this case it is not for very advanced level. That is why it won't create a zugzwang. Directly the bishop will be taken. White, of course, he starts with ne7. No brainer it is, because why? We want to stop this h7 square for the bishop. So we opened this bishop, and secondly, this is the only place from which knight has access towards the black king. So we are trying to use that. So this was the only logical move. Now see, bishop has to move. Bishop was attacked on top of that. So wherever the bishop goes, the bishop is lost. Do try to calculate on your own first. See, after bishop f7, there comes knight c6 check. That was the idea. Now if the king goes to 8 or b7, knight check, and the bishop is lost. See, the bishop was giving check. So black had to play king a6, after which bd3 check forces the king to b7, and knight check, king moves, knight takes bishop, and white wins. Let's go to the next move, bishop e6. After bishop e6 also see, again knight check, king a6, bd3 check, kb7, knight d8, king move, knight takes the bishop. You must have seen my bishop and knight mating lessons already. So from there you must be knowing how the bishop and knight checkmates the king. I will put it in the description. Next option is bb3, taking the bishop far away. Here too knight check. Same story, if the king goes to a8 or b7, knight a5, bishops check, and the bishop is taken next move. So king a6 forced, bishop check, kb7 forced, and knight fork, and the bishop is taken. See, this way. So finally the bishop has to go to a2, but here too it's unsafe. After knight check, again see, king a8 allows knight b4, bishops check, and the bishop is taken. So only move a6, then knight check directly this time, and the bishop is taken and white wins. Let's take the third case. The third position is somewhat different. Here it is white to play and mate in 3. A very strange kind of mating pattern emerges. Generally it's very rare to mate with two knights. So if white, see, white again here has very less options. If white wants to play na6 here, trying for a mate, see, after what? After c5, nb8, assuming that cd6 is forced, then nf6 mate. But there is a problem here. Black plays c6, and after c6 you note that there is either a stalemate after white playing d7, or if knight check, then king takes d6. So there is no mate over here, although white is winning. So white plays the move king f6. Very unique kind of mate. The black king will be surrounded by his own pawns, and the knight mate. See, c takes d6, only move. Now see ke7, putting black in a really zugzwang, or this we can say semi-stalemate, means only one move is there, otherwise it is a stalemate. So pawn takes knight forced, and see, knight f6 mate, a unique pattern. This position at hand is somewhat complex and requires calculation. This is our fourth position. Once again white to play, and here you will note that there is a race going on. White pawn is winning on a8, and black bishop, which seems to do nothing, is actually threatening the deadly bg3. So if any move like knight c2, it looks like we can play a6 or knight c2, anything. If a6, then to c, we can do straight away bishop f2. Okay, many consider the move bg3, but bg3 is blunder, because after bg3 there will be a7, the pawn would queen, right? So bishop f2 forced, and now after the knight comes to f3, now white is threatening, see, knight d4. So bishop goes to a7, knight d4, g5, nc6, g4, na7, g3, and white is one move slow here. So after hg, h2, black wins, and after knight move also you will see there is gh, a7, h1, where black wins. If white starts with nc2, then also see, here comes c, bg3. This time see, bishop f2 is blunder, knight d4 will be there, and white will win. So bg3 good move. Of course hg blunder, h2 wins on the spot. So a7, bb8, knight d4, g5, knight c6, g4, knight b8, g3. Here at least white can get a draw after a7 and then g2. But see, white cannot win here. Hence the only move is nf3. nf3 does what? It stops bg3. See, if bg3 now, you see that the h2 square is guarded by this knight. Okay, so after hg, h2, knight takes h2. That's why bishop f2 forced, and now white goes nd4. So black really lost a tempo from the previous line. Now see, bishop rushes to g3. If bishop d4, then after kd4, white is queening very fast. Okay, g3 and then a8. bg3, a6, bb8, knight c6, g5, knight a7, g4, a7, g3. Here hg is simpler, otherwise 8 also wins, h2, 8, queen, and white wins. Queen guards this winning square. Here too, if you would have used the elimination method, it wasn't that difficult. Last position, this can be easily solved with the elimination method if you don't stop your calculation after the enemy move. Most people I have seen that around 1500-1600 they are stuck because they leave their calculation after the enemy move. We should never leave the calculation before three plies, that is own move, opponents, and then again own move, and this keeps on continuing as a pattern. Again, if we are seeing our third move, opponent's fourth, then fifth also ours we have to see. So here also see the black pawn is queening. Of course, white to play and win it is. So bd5 only move, and see king takes d5. Now white uses the fact that the king and this queen are going to come in a relation. So rook c1. Many people see this move and discard, saying that rook will be taken. But see, after knight takes rook, a7, h1 queen, and 8 queen check, king moves, queen takes queen. Many people don't see further. That is their weakness. And if knight e2 is played, sometimes what happens? Knight comes and guards the queening square. But here after 8 queen check, k e5, queen g2, nothing is there. Next move h2 will be taken and white wins. So I thought the positions were somewhat unique in nature, very good for players, those who want to become rated or those who have just got their rating. I felt they must know these kind of positions. I use these kind of books for my students that help them develop their calculation plus imagination. I hope you are finding this lesson useful and instructive. Definitely let me know in the comments below. Thanks for your time.